Hello everyone, welcome to City Talk. I'm Thermice Bevelle. A local group created a traveling memorial dedicated to Georgia law enforcement personnel who died in the line of duty. City Talk's Troy Danicus takes us downtown as the names of fallen APD officers are unveiled.
Forward!
2012 was a tragic year for the Atlanta Police Department. In January, Officer Gail Thomas was struck and killed by a drunk driver as she was investigating an accident. 11 months later, Officers Richard Halford and Sean Smiley died when the helicopter they were flying crashed during the search for a missing child. Today, their names are being added to a traveling memorial dedicated to Georgia law enforcement personnel who were killed in the line of duty.
What it does really for us is to remind those family members that we will never forget the work and the effort that those officers provided to protecting the citizens of our city.
The traveling memorial is sponsored by the Blue Knights Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. The purpose of the memorial is simple for chapter president Ed Christian.
We want you to tell some of those stories and keep those names and memories alive.
Life for Tara Smiley and her 3 children hasn't been the same since that tragic night in November, but she says her extended APD family has not forgotten them.
There's not a week that goes by when somebody isn't calling just to check on us, coming to the kids' school, dropping off, something to let us know that they haven't forgotten about us.
The Smiley's young son had the honor of unveiling his father's name on the memorial. Knowing that her husband will be remembered for his service helps in the healing process.
It means a lot to know that people remember, people want to come out.
Ed Christensen wants all Georgians to remember the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. His group frequently takes the mobile memorial on statewide tours. He says the effect on people is palpable.
It's important that wall comes to each community. Once someone that has no involvement in law enforcement sees all those names together, 688, it's just it's an awe-inspiring experience to see them. It clicks with them.
For City Talk, I'm Troy Danicus.
The Blue Knights have plans to take the memorial trailer on a tour of all Georgia towns that have lost police officers in the line of duty. And the police memorial ride is scheduled for later this month. An estimated 2,500 Blue Knights are expected to participate. Councilman H. Lamar Willis honors victims of the Boston Marathon bombings by leading city employees on a 2.62-mile run walk. Willis earned his law degree from Boston College Law School. He says he wants Bostonians to know that Atlanta has them in our thoughts and prayers.
So we wanted to show our support for those, for the city of Boston, for those who were injured, and for those who have lost their lives.
The run walk started with a moment of silence at 2:50 p.m., the approximate time of the tragic explosions. City and business leaders from Portland, Oregon know a little more about Atlanta and the city's big plans for the future.
It'll be coming down Andrew Young International Boulevard, turning here with its western terminus at this location.
The group toured the Atlanta streetcar in its construction phase. They looked at the progress being made at a few of the future stops, including Centennial Park and Edgewood Avenue. Work on the Edgewood Avenue phase is moving briskly. Workers were seen putting the finishing touches on the track beds.
Just your route connects a university, connects downtown jobs, connects neighborhoods, connects your history. And as I'm driving around, I'm looking, oh my gosh, maybe that would be a building I could come to Atlanta and develop.
The delegation was in Atlanta on a fact-finding mission to seek out innovations they can apply to the city of Portland. Constituents joined Councilmember Joyce Shepard for a morning walk along the Atlanta Beltline. The Beltline tour started at the Atlanta Urban Farm. Beltline officials say the farm's 5.3 acres is a great opportunity to transform the site into an educational resource model on farming and for the use of organic planting.
And on this site in particular, we're building an urban farm. That's really important because this area is one of the areas where there's not as much access to food, grocery stores, and this urban farm will be a resource for the community.
Trees Atlanta will plant fruit trees there in October. City Council President Cesar Mitchell participates in an Operation Hope Forum. Mitchell moderated the forum where they discussed the banking and financial industry's new approaches to assist underserved, under-resourced, and low-wealth communities in a new era banking environment.
Communities are about people, people who care about each other, and I'm glad to be among a group today that has dedicated itself to making communities stronger, particularly those communities that are home to the less fortunate than us.
It's so critical that we build public-private relationships that are strong so that we can ensure that our most vulnerable communities and citizens have access to dollars and cents. The dollars and cents that it oftentimes takes not only to propel a business, but certainly to get even from day to day.
About 200 government, financial sector, community, and business leaders learned more about how they can all work together to strengthen some of Atlanta's most underserved neighborhoods. Registration is underway for President Mitchell's College Prep Series. The series is on a semi-annual basis. Students will take the Princeton Review Assessment and a mock PSAT during the upcoming session to prepare for the real thing. Students will find out how they scored during the second event of this session. They will also get a chance to learn more about the college admissions process. The first event is May 4th at Atlanta Technical College from 8 a.m. to noon. This is when students will take the PSAT and the Princeton Review Assessment, or PRA. The PRA gauges whether a student is better suited to take the SAT or the ACT. The second event is in the atrium here at City Hall on May 15th at 6 p.m. To register for the College Prep Series, call 1-800-273-8439. That's 1-800-2REVIEW. Are you smarter than a Kipster? Some community leaders entered into a battle of wits and smarts in a game show against KIPP students.
We are supporting the school by supporting this fundraiser, Are You Smarter Than a Kipster? I am absolutely terrified, but I decided to participate because it's so important to make sure that our kids understand how important it is to stay in school, learn your lesson. It sets a path and a course for you for life.
And so I'm going to be competing. I'm one of the contestants tonight. I am shaking in my boots. I am scared to death. I would rather swim the English Channel rather than compete against these Kipsters tonight. But we're here to support an amazing, worthy cause, and I'm very proud to be here.
I've always been a big supporter of KIPP. I really believe that KIPP goes where students and parents and families are, and really works hard to provide opportunities for education and advancement for young people in our community.
WSB's John Bachman emceed the game show. He says the Kipsters killed them. The Department of Information Technology hosted its second annual Technology Day. The atrium was filled with vendors and industry experts who provide IT services to the city of Atlanta.
Some of the vendors that are here today are Microsoft, Google, AT&T, and a host of others. The goal for today's event is simply to get excitement around technology. The future for our employees is going to be through the use of technology, and how well they use it will be a direct correlation in terms of how the city will grow.
Dogan says the theme of this year's fair is social media and responsible technology.
We call it SMART. The reality of it is social media and through the use of responsible technology, the lines are blurred between that, and we need to make sure that our employees understand that these things go together.
Technology companies such as Oracle, Women Interactive, and Google were on hand to offer workshops on how to be smart when using social media. Councilmember Willis holds his annual Swing into Spring tennis camp for students. Tennis participants learned stroke techniques, footwork, serving, and volley fundamentals. The camp also helps children make new friends and discover new interests. Councilman Willis provides the free tennis camp every year for Atlanta school students.
We really started this as a way of trying to give young people an alternative to doing nothing during spring break. And what it's morphed into is really trying to, one, teach them a life sport and a life skill, something that they can take with them forever, but also an opportunity for them to really learn and enjoy how, or understand how to enjoy physical activity.
This is his 11th year hosting the event, and Willis says he enjoys providing a program geared towards young people. It was a Collards cook-off in East Atlanta. Councilwoman Natalie Archibong joined a panel of judges for the Collard Greens cook-off. This is the 4th year the East Lake Farmers Market held the cook-off to celebrate this southern delicacy and to support suppliers of locally grown produce. The cook-off benefits underserved communities by providing access to homegrown fruit and vegetables.
Well, the event brings together residents from all over, businesses who are doing gardening, who have restaurants, but opportunity for us to connect with them on a level in the neighborhood, as well as to taste great food.
Archibong says East Atlanta is home to several outdoor farmers markets, and it's wonderful to see Atlantans supporting these vendors. The Eco Collection was a big success. Despite heavy rain that morning, volunteers collected items from 360 Buckhead residents and 25 businesses. The group disposed of more than 14,000 pounds of electronics, nearly 4,000 gallons of paint, and shredded about 5,000 pounds of paper. This is the third year council members Howard Shook and Yolanda Adrian have co-sponsored the event. City employees roll up their sleeves to do their part to improve the community. And Commissioner George Dusenberry chats with us about parks, recreation, and cultural affairs. Stay with us. Recreational activities, leisure services, and cultural experiences is his business. Every day, George Dusenberry makes sure Atlanta has what it needs to live, work, and play. Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs is led by Commissioner George Dusenberry, who works with numerous organizations and volunteers to improve Atlanta's parks and green spaces. He is dedicated to building civic and corporate support for city parks. His department recently introduced iParks, Internet Parks, Arts, and Recreation Customer Service.
Well, iParks is an electronic registration reservation system, which means that from the comfort of your own home, you'll be able to go and you can actually look at all of the pavilions you can register in the park, you can look at the fields, you can look at the various classes we offer at all of our centers, and you can register for those classes or you can reserve those spaces from your own home.
The launch of iParks further enhances the city's commitment to provide quality customer service to the citizens of Atlanta. Commissioner Dusenberry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Your department recently released its summer guide for 2013. What are some of the activities that residents and visitors wouldn't typically expect a city of our size to offer?
Well, and we have stuff like Zumba classes in our recreation centers. We have a unique program actually nationally in terms of the Camp Best Friends we're putting out there. And we have one of the most robust camping programs in the city. We have swim and tennis camps, we have golf camps, we have basketball camps, therapeutics camps, and then we just have our standard camps where we get to bring kids out to some of our assets like Lake Allatoona, some core property we rent from them, up in above 75 in Cherokee County. So just a wonderful smorgasbord for folks to do stuff and get active out in the summer.
And last year, you guys introduced a Freedom Schools model. Tell us a little bit about that.
That is correct. Freedom Schools, it's the Children's Defense Fund, national model. Marion Wright Edelman started it. And it really has its roots back in the 1960s when, because a lot of African Americans were disenfranchised, they had poll taxes, they had just various means of keeping people from registering to vote. And organizations like SNCC and SCLC went into Alabama, went into Mississippi, and they actually educated the populace, taught them to read, helped them pass those tests in an effort to support registration and literacy. And so what the Children's Defense Fund is kind of built upon that legacy and taking a model that really emphasizes an integrated reading curriculum where they really focus on working with children in terms of making sure you don't have that summer lag and actually enhance your literacy skills over the summer. It's not all school. I mean, there's a lot of fun. We supplement and make sure the kids have a good time, but it really is a nationally renowned program where we send our counselors up to Tennessee, get some specific training, and we're doing that at the Dunbar Recreation Center, and we're doing that at the MLK Recreation Center in historic 4th Ward. So that's Mechanicsville and 4th Ward, we can do those. And we have room for 300 children at those sites.
Oh, okay. Art School is a new program aimed at teen artists to give them some real-world experience, including a chance to take part in a professional style exhibit. Why is it important to launch a program like this?
Well, I mean, arts has shown as just being extremely impactful in terms of academic support, character, just really helping kids. A lot of kids who sometimes don't quite feel that they're mainstream, it helps them acclimate and move forward. And so our Office of Cultural Affairs and the leadership of Camille Love has put forth this program which provides this wonderful opportunity for really one-on-one individual support for the kids working with artists. And what it does is it exposes them to the various forms of art. It can be sculpture, it could be painting, it could be videography, and really develop that relationship and understand what it is like to be an artist. And hopefully we're we're growing the next generation of artists here in the city of Atlanta. So it's a wonderful program. It's limited, you do have to apply, but if you have a child who has the least inclination, isn't that interested in sports, bring them down and let's look at the art school program. It's great.
And the city's getting ready for the Atlanta Jazz Festival. That's always a huge, fantastic event for the city.
Yes, it is. Last year we were able to return to Piedmont Park for a 3-day festival for the first time since the droughts. As you may recall, during the droughts we unfortunately had to move a bit of our events from Piedmont Park. And while the Jazz Festival returned, it hadn't returned in full force. So Memorial Day weekend, 3 days of jazz, free jazz. So please come on down. Enjoy yourself. You can bring your grill. There are designated grilling areas. We have a wonderful lineup. This year, there's an emphasis on young performers and up-and-coming performers. For more information, again, go to our webpage at thecityatlantaga.gov, or you go to the Cultural Affairs website too and get some more information about it there. And what people also need to remember is Jazz Festival actually is a month-long celebration of jazz. And so we partner with organizations around the city to do jazz concerts. During the month of May, we are actually doing concerts in parks, working with our city council at a number of sites. I know we're working with Felicia Moore, I know we're working with Keisha Lance Bottoms, and doing these jazz festivals around the park. Actually, we're also doing with Joyce Shepard and down in Perkins Park. So great opportunity, great family environment. Please come out. It's all free. It's all for citizens of Atlanta. And
May is a big month for you guys because you have splash pads and pools opening.
That is right. May 1st, our splash pads open, and it's starting to get a little warm. It looks like it'll get cold today. But in Perkins Park, historic 4th Ward Park, Center Hill, I'm missing one. Oh, in D.H. Stanton Park, we'll be opening our splash pads May 1st. Again, perfectly free. Come on down. The whole family can enjoy them. And then Memorial Day, that's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All of our pools will be open, 13 pools around the city of Atlanta. Please come on down and enjoy them. We have free swim during the week, but during the weekend, it's very affordable, $2 for kids, $4 for adults. And it's a great way to spend Memorial Day weekend and jump into summer. Commissioner Dusenberry, thank you so much. Well, thank you very again for having me.
The Atlanta City Council welcomes Morehouse's 11th president, and Mrs. Juanita Abernathy receives a special honor. Back in a moment. President Mitchell hosted a reception for the new president of Morehouse College, Dr. John S. Wilson, to welcome him to Atlanta. The old council chamber is full of excitement as alumni of Morehouse College gather to meet and welcome the new president of this prestigious school.
When we put the invitation out to have this reception, I did not expect this number of Morehouse men and ladies to show up, but I think that is a testament to the level of excitement that we have about Dr. Wilson's service and leadership as the 11th president of Morehouse College.
Established in 1867, Morehouse is a private all-male liberal arts historically black college. It is one of 2 black colleges in the country to produce Rhodes Scholars, and it is the alma mater of many African-American leaders, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. City leaders who are also Morehouse alums welcomed Dr. John S. Wilson as the 11th president to lead this 145-year-old institution.
I've come to Morehouse College at a very special time in the life of the college because as I was messaging from the White House, it's now or never for our HBCUs. We have to surge in strength to a new echelon now, or else many of us will be going out of business real soon. And I insist that an institution that graduated a man after whom we have a national holiday and who is now memorialized in granite on the National Mall and who will be there as long as America is on earth, an institution that can do that and that has done so much more in producing strong leaders for this world, that's an institution that needs to last forever.
Prior to his presidency, Dr. Wilson was the executive director of President Obama's White House initiative on historically black colleges and universities. He worked to secure funding for the nation's 105 HBCUs from the federal government, as well as corporate and philanthropic sectors.
We have a Forever Morehouse campaign that we've already launched. We need every single Morehouse alum and all of our friends to support us now.
The day was capped off at the full council meeting when Wilson was presented with a memento of appreciation from the city and his fellow alums.
letting him know that we've got his back. We know that there will be a lot of issues, certainly opportunities that lie ahead, and we want to let him know that he's got a great offensive line and a defensive line standing with him, in front of him, and behind him as he propels the college forward.
President Wilson and the entire Morehouse community are pleased to announce that on May 19th, President Barack Obama will deliver the commencement address at this year's graduation. Councilman Michael Bond held a reception and proclamation presentation for Mrs. Juanita Abernathy, the widow of civil rights leader Reverend Ralph David Abernathy. Mrs. Abernathy has touched thousands of people with her message of hope, empowerment, and justice. She endured so many personal sacrifices in pursuit of human rights, from her house being bombed in Alabama in 1957 to her husband's numerous arrests during the civil rights movement. She was right there with Reverend Abernathy during those turbulent times. She was involved with some of the most significant protests and endeavors that led to major improvements for society.
It's about what we can do for others. I grew up in a home where my father and mother taught us, if you can't do something for somebody else with what God has blessed you with, you are not deserving to have it.
Mrs. Abernathy remained on the front lines in the quest for true racial equality in America. The Peachtree Road Farmers Market is open for its 7th season. A large crowd and great weather greeted opening day. The Farmers Market is in the parking lot of the Cathedral of St. Philip, 2744 Peachtree Road. This Buckhead Market is the largest producer-only farmers market in the state. Everything is grown, raised, or made by the seller. The market is open every Saturday morning from April to December. Hundreds of city employees get into the spirit of Earth Day. Volunteers met at several sites around the city to pick up trash and to cut down weeds. Mayor Reed even got his hands dirty. Volunteers were happy to get out of the office and into the sun, even if that meant a bit of hard work.
I just want to say thank you. This is so important. We've got to do more and more of this all over the city. And taking Earth Day really to focus our energy and time to it, I think is the right thing to be doing.
Nearly 400 employees took part in the cleanups at Mims Park, Renaissance and Central Park, Langford Park, and the Outdoor Activity Center. President Mitchell teams up with a group of Boy Scouts for Earth Day. Mitchell and scouts from the Southwest Atlanta District beautified the Georgia Avenue high-rise, a property of the Atlanta Housing Authority. Some of the young guys worked with residents on the senior garden. They planted flowers, laid mulch, and got rid of weeds. Others picked up debris from around the community. Here at ATL 26, we're working to bring you better access to city government. We'd love to hear from you. Send your questions or comments to CityTalk at atlantagA.gov. CityTalk is on air and online. Catch us right here on ATL 26, on YouTube, and on our website, atlantagA.gov. You know spring is in the air when dogwood trees bloom in Piedmont Park. And Atlantans brought their appetites to the Taste of Buckhead. That's next. The arrival of spring brings the annual Dogwood Festival to Piedmont Park. The blooming dogwood trees provided a backdrop for the hundreds of artists who sold their work to eager visitors. Live music kept the crowds entertained, and the Kids Village gave the youngsters a place to play while mom and dad shopped. Visitors also had their pick of festival food, with dozens of vendors appealing to every appetite. Atlanta foodies have a good idea of where they want to dine on the weekends. They sampled recipes from some of Buckhead's top restaurants at the Taste of Buckhead Business Expo. Over 900 guests enjoyed food from 16 of the area's restaurants, including Witch Witch and Brio. The event raises money for the Buckhead Business Association Community Alliance.
We give money away to schools, Livable Buckhead, other organizations. All this is about giving back to the Buckhead community, and that's why we're doing it.
The expo was more than just a chance to sample great food. Guests were also introduced to 25 Buckhead businesses that took part in the event. The City of Atlanta has online services available to make doing business with the city a little easier. On our website, you can pay water bills, municipal court citations, parking tickets, and apply for permits. Atlanta's list of online services will continue to grow as the city strives to identify more opportunities to provide access to government services via the internet. For a full list of online services, visit our website at atlantagA.gov.
Yeah, he's slimy, isn't he?
Atlanta area kids on spring break took the opportunity to keep learning at the Atlanta Botanical Garden. The garden opened for 2 consecutive Mondays to give kids a chance to learn about nature. Youngsters had an opportunity to play in the Children's Garden, which has several kid-friendly and interactive attractions.
The butterfly maze is always really popular, where you can walk through the different life cycle of a butterfly, and then at the very end there's a little slide to go down. Our tree house as well feels like you're up in the top of the trees, as well as another slide which is always popular here. The Soggy Bullfrog Pond always has bullfrogs in the summer and springtime, and you might even get lucky and see a tadpole.
Thank you for watching City Talk. I'm Thermice Bevelle.